The teasers dropped, the fandom went silent. In an instant, the entire K-pop world was turned upside down. One member, one devastatingly sharp killing part, and the timeline completely exploded.
I mean, it was just a 10-second clip, but it didn't stay inside the fandom. It totally breached the algorithm, like becoming this massive crossover viral event.
Join Eric and Minji as they ride the Hallyu wave, uncovering the biggest K-pop comebacks, shocking industry controversies, and major K-drama updates. From internet-breaking rumors to historic chart milestones, we dive deep into the world of Korean entertainment.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Welcome in, and for you listening right now, you really need to brace yourself because today's headline is massive. San just broke the internet, the performance everyone is replicating.
Yeah, today our mission is to really unpack the intense discipline, the biomechanics, and just the global shockwaves created by ATEEZ San and his recent choreography.
You literally cannot open any social media app or, scroll your FYP for 2 seconds without seeing this specific move. It is pure chaos out there.
It really is. We're looking at a masterclass in physical control here. It's this fascinating case study in how one highly technical movement can just capture the global zeitgeist.
Right, and to understand the magnitude of this trend, we have to look at what's actually happening on stage. Like, platforms like 8 Days and Koreaboo have been tracking this whole explosion.
Yeah, the focal point is their new track, Bad. During the choreo, San executes this razor-sharp, incredibly isolated chest pump.
And he does it wearing this very simple, minimalist white tank top.
Which leaves absolutely nowhere to hide any sloppy technique.
Exactly. He actually helped create that specific move, and it undeniably became the defining killing part of the entire promotional cycle. Fans are literally calling it the Let's All Die dance.
Mostly because the sheer intensity of his gaze while he pulls it off.
Yeah, the glare is deadly. But what blows my mind is the execution of it. Because when most people try to pop their chest, they just, they thrust their shoulders forward.
Right, or they just arch their lower back really hard.
Yes. But that is the crucial biomechanical difference here. To perform a true chest isolation like that, you have to completely separate the movement of your rib cage from your hips and shoulders.
He is actively locking his lats and his shoulders rigidly in place, and he's purely firing his pectoral muscles and upper abdominals, which requires, massive isometric strength.
His arms remain completely frozen.
Yeah, it creates this crazy optical illusion. It looks like his chest is operating on an entirely separate physics engine from the rest of his body.
And the parodies attempting to recreate that physics engine are just staggering. It's not just ATMYs doing it, It has totally breached the general public.
Oh, absolutely. The reach is insane.
Let me paint this picture for you guys listening. There is this video of a little kid, like a literal mini-me, who learned the choreo. He had the white tank top, the oversized cargo pants, the red bandana around his waist.
Wait, he had the whole outfit.
The whole fit? He threw on a chunky yellow chain, hit the isolation perfectly, and even tried to mimic San's signature glare. It was so endearing, and San actually saw it and liked it.
That is amazing. And the creativity cascading from this one move is just remarkable. I saw over in Thailand, these comedy creators pulled off the ultimate budget version.
Oh my gosh, the nipple covers.
Yes. One guy is wearing a flashy gold sequin blazer, but his partner steals the scene. To mimic the sharp chest pop, he put on a white tee and stuck nipple covers underneath to make the isolation pop more.
It's so funny. And out of nowhere, massive corporate brands are jumping on it. Like an AI animated Colonel Sanders from KFC suddenly popped up on timelines doing the chest pump.
Doing the chest pump and blowing a kiss to the camera.
Yes. It is a completely surreal visual.
It perfectly highlights the crossover appeal, though. Even meme creators with zero connection to K-pop are engaging. There was this one video where a Korean creator edited San's locked arm pose into a clinic height measuring scale.
I saw that. He just slides up and down the pole while maintaining the pose.
Yeah, and San interacted with that pose too, giving it his official seal of approval. The domestic reaction from K-nets has just been unanimous.
Even locals, like the non-K-pop fans, are sharing his fan cams. The consensus is basically that he's the hottest thing in the industry right now.
And instead of taking it all too seriously, he just went on Instagram, sent a voice message, and laughed about it. He told everyone to just copy it however they please and have fun.
Which is such a savvy PR stance, honestly. By encouraging the memes, he removes any friction and keeps the choreo at the top of trending feeds.
Definitely. But, when you see an AI Colonel Sanders do it, it looks easy. The reality is, Executing in isolation that's sharp requires a body built like an absolute machine.
And this is not an isolated incident. If we just rewind a bit to the whole BOUNCY comeback, you see the foundation of this physical extreme.
Oh, the four-step back bend.
Yes, in the second chorus of BOUNCY, San doesn't just lean back, he literally folds himself backward to an extreme degree.
It genuinely looks like his spine shouldn't be able to articulate that way.
I get a phantom backache just watching the fan cams, I swear.
Well, bending the spine that far backward without snapping it means you can't rely on the lumbar spine alone. Biomechanically, he has to push his hips incredibly far forward to shift his center of gravity.
Like a solid counterweight.
Exactly.
Mm.
He's intensely activating his glutes and his quads, keeping his core entirely braced to protect his vertebrae. The tension running through his legs must be immense.
The physics of that move actually worried his own family. Koreaboo had this scoop where San revealed his parents called him after watching the broadcast.
They were legitimately concerned about his waist health, right?
Yeah, his spine health. During a Music Bank pre-recording, he reassured the fans he was fine, claiming he was only doing it in a, quote, moderate way and could actually drop much lower.
Which is terrifying.
Right. I hear him saying he's doing it moderately, but I have to push back on that. You cannot moderately bend your spine at a near 90-degree angle backward while singing live.
It does raise a big question about the industry standard.
Exactly. Like, at what point does this relentless push for a 10-second viral killing part cross the line into genuine physical danger? Are we asking these idols to constantly push past natural human limits just for the algorithm?
The barrier to entry for attention has undeniably skyrocketed. When a standard routine isn't enough, choreo evolves into stunt work. And the human spine just isn't designed as a shock absorber for repetitive hyperextension.
Especially on a grueling world tour schedule.
It's definitely an industry-wide concern. But as a fandom, we heavily consume that spectacle.
We really do. And hey, speaking of keeping up with the spectacle, if you love staying updated on your favorites and deep diving into the biggest K-pop moments, make sure you're subscribed to Starscope K Report.
We've got even bigger scoops ahead. Because later in the deep dive, we'll talk about a historic desert stage where the wardrobe malfunction wasn't a malfunction at all.
Oh, I can't wait for that. But first, let's talk about the physical demands we were just discussing. They require an architectural foundation that most idols just do not possess.
All right, how does a human body survive these moves? We have to look at his specific artist history.
Let's talk about the infamous ATEEZ Demon line, San, Hongjeong, and Seonghwa. They are legendary for their facial expressions. San actually earned the nickname the Grand Duke of the North.
Because his stage persona is exceptionally dominant. It's dark, visceral, and it just commands the entire stage.
Exactly. And the background behind that persona was recently explored in a GQ magazine interview. Plus, dance professionals on Reddit have analyzed it heavily.
A huge piece of context that fans often miss is that San didn't even start dancing until he was 15 or 16 years old.
Which is wild. In an industry where trainees are practically born in the studio, taking ballet before middle school, starting at 15 is exceptionally late.
Very late. His foundation isn't traditional dance. His muscle control, the crispness of his movements, it all stems from his martial arts background.
Wait, his dad is a Taekwondo instructor, right?
Yeah, and San is a third-degree black belt himself.
That entirely changes the context of his movement.
Completely. Traditional hip-hop relies on continuous momentum, letting a movement breathe. Taekwondo is about generating maximum kinetic force from the ground up and stopping on a dime.
Wow, so that explains the isolation.
Exactly. It's called isometric focus, where all your muscles contract simultaneously at the exact point of impact. San isn't letting momentum carry his arm. He's using intense muscle contraction to stop and start.
He literally dances with striking physics. But, back during their debut era, he had a very classic lean idol frame. He didn't always look like this powerhouse.
To support this explosive style without destroying his joints, he made a conscious choice to bulk up. And the discipline to maintain that mass while touring globally is immense.
GQ noted that he still works out for at least 30 minutes every single day, no matter the schedule.
Right, and he focuses heavily on his legs so that his feet feel like feathers.
He essentially built a human suspension system. Heavy, grounded leg muscles to absorb the shock, freeing up his upper body to snap like a whip. And I love his diet approach to this.
The convenience store shakes.
Yeah, he relies on those protein shakes to keep the mass up. But on his cheat days, he goes straight for KFC. It's refreshingly relatable.
Beyond the biomechanics, though, there's a profound psychological discipline to becoming the stage demon. In a Vogue Korea interview, he talked about his acting mindset on stage.
He picks out an outfit from the various size within himself.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. He thinks about a character that suits the song. Depending on the track, he might embody someone consumed by desire or someone completely manic.
But early on, K-Nets actually criticized him heavily for that. They accused him of overdancing, saying his facial expressions were exaggerated or distracting.
Which is crazy to think about now.
It is. How does an artist go from being publicly mocked for their style to being universally hailed as the fourth generation's standard for stage presence?
Well, when faced with criticism like that, artists usually retreat and dial it back.
Yeah.
But San leaned so far into it that he forced the audience to adapt to his frequency. He basically weaponized the criticism.
He armored himself in pure muscle and unstoppable confidence.
He openly acknowledges it too. When GQ asked about his relationship with his body, he said he's incredibly proud because he put in immense effort, and his body is living proof of that growth.
Taking your biggest insecurity, like being a late starter, and building an impenetrable fortress out of it is just a stunning narrative. But all this training, the psychology, it all had to be tested.
Tested on the most high-stakes stage possible.
Yes. You think the Music Bank stages were intense. Just wait till you hear what happened when ATEEZ took over the biggest music festival in the world, Coachella 2024.
The cultural weight of this cannot be overstated.
Yeah.
ATEEZ stepped up as the very first K-pop boy group to ever perform at Coachella.
You're no longer just performing for your fandom. You are performing for the global music industry in the middle of the California desert. The pressure is astronomical.
And they brought this incredibly demanding set list. Say, my name, ATEEZ, ATA, Wonderland, just relentless.
The visual direction was completely off the charts. They arrived in these commanding all-black outfits. Seonghwa is draped in this stunning, sparkly blazer. Hongjoong has dramatic tassels. And then San steps into the light.
The visual impact of his wardrobe choice here heavily influenced the crossover appeal.
He walks out onto the biggest stage in the world wearing an open blazer. And underneath that blazer, literally nothing.
Just heavily trained abdominal muscles.
Pure abs. And if that wasn't enough to short-circuit the timeline, Minnie appears with the words "Fix on in" written boldly across his bare chest and eventually sheds his own shirt to match San's energy.
It was an absolute masterclass in commanding attention, and the reactions online perfectly illustrate how it united the fandom with the general public.
International fans were so funny about it.
Yeah, the prevailing joke was how the group packed massive amounts of luggage to fly across the world, only for San and Mingy to end up completely shirtless anyway.
They could have checked one tiny carry-on. But the real shift happened outside the fandom, with the locals.
Right. Attendees and online viewers with zero prior K-pop knowledge were entirely swept up. Twitter was flooded with non-fans asking, in varying degrees of panic, who the shirtless performer was.
It proved that elite physical charisma transcends any language barrier. You don't need to speak Korean to understand the power dynamics on that stage.
It's the ultimate testament to K-pop's visual storytelling. But what I find truly fascinating is San's perspective on it afterward in that GQ interview.
Oh, when he laughed the whole thing off.
Yeah. He humbly admitted he doesn't usually walk around with abs like that.
Yeah.
He called them a legacy of training incredibly hard, specifically for the festival.
It perfectly encapsulates his philosophy. The physique wasn't vanity, it was a functional requirement, a costume piece for the character he needed to portray in the desert.
He manufactured that physical condition for maximum impact, and once the mission was done, he moved on. That is elite professionalism.
A consummate professional who just happens to look like a deity when the occasion calls for it. And hey, if you want to make sure you never miss a KT update as these boys continue their world domination, hit that subscribe button.
You really don't want to be out of the loop. So we've unpacked the biomechanics, the structural risks, the martial arts, and the cultural footprint of Coachella.
Which brings us to the big question. What does this all mean for the future of the industry?
It leaves us with a highly provocative thought about the actual infrastructure of K-pop. The trainee curriculum has been fixed for 2 decades. Vocal lessons, media training, and standard hip-hop or ballet.
But San entered as a non-dancer and used martial arts to completely redefine elite stage presence for the new generations. He fundamentally altered the blueprint.
So will major agencies be forced to overhaul the trainee system? Instead of standard dance, will future trainees have to master combat sports like judo or karate just to develop that extreme core control?
Are we entering an era where an idol has to have the biomechanics of a combat athlete just to survive a comeback?
It's very possible given the new athletic baseline ATEEZ has set.
Imagine walking into a company building in 10 years, and instead of vocal warm-ups, you just hear rows of trainees breaking boards before they're allowed to learn a body roll. That is wild to think about. You've been listening to Starscope K-Report, where Eric and Minji bring you the stories shaping K-pop, K-dramas, and the global Hallyu wave. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.